So Sean Tristan, oh my god. What's up, everybody? I'm Tristan Ducross. This is my brother Sean Ducross. We are the Ducross Brothers Sports World. The pandemic has everybody a little bit crazy, a little bit fuzzy. But in the meantime, we are back with a brand new episode here in the Warriors Den. Thank you, everybody that's tuning into us right now. We're trying to give you a little bit of a different show. We did a pop-up show last week. We're doing another one today. So I hope you guys enjoy it. It's a little bit different, a little bit of a fresher take on what is going on in the sports world. From combat sports to wrestling. We are taking a little bit of tidbits from everything from combat sports world to professional wrestling. So I hope you guys enjoy professional wrestling just as much as I do and as much as my brother is getting involved in professional wrestling. But UFC 240 Live seems to be the common narrative amongst a lot of people, and it seems to be right there at the tip of everybody's tongue because it's whether or not it's going to happen or it's not going to happen. That is the question that is literally on everybody's mind. And as most people are trying to figure out what is going on, so are we. Because on last week's show, we talked about what is the possibility of UFC or Dana White following the coattails of Vincent Kennedy McMahon. Right, Sean? And Vincent Kennedy McMahon got the okay, became essential in Florida. Conspiracy theories, ran amok about that, whatever. It does pass the smell check. But we said that UFC would be on the front lines, were we not? We said that they would jump into it with both legs to see if they could do their own fight card in Florida. So May 9th, as of right now, UFC in Florida, it's going to happen. It's a go. And it's still a stacked card from every single person talking about it. It's still a stacked card. I love the fact that you have 2 title fights, not 3, because Amanda Nunes pulled out. My bad. See, I get that. Because a lot of people are not necessarily exactly happy or ecstatic about the possibility of fighting and contracting the COVID-19. Stay at home, be safe. We in this all together. Are we in this together? I get it.
Because I'm hearing a lot of I's and them's and yous, but I'm not hearing anything from really the fighters. Joanna Jacek pulled out of this one once before. The laundry list goes on.
Rose said she didn't want to do it because of the pandemic. Amanda Nunes ain't doing it because of the pandemic.
I get it. And when you look across the bow and you see where everything's going with this, here's the issue that I have. Last week we touched on it and said that this was going to be something that's going to happen. It's going to be essential. He's going to find the loophole. Well, according to ESPN, he found the loophole and it's going to Florida, May 9th. We're still waiting to find out what this fighter island is and where it's going to be, but we know it's not going to be stateside. But one thing that I have questions about, fighter-wise, people-wise, why I continue to ask this question. Okay? This fight card is still going to be on pay-per-view. Why? Why is this going to be on pay-per-view? I asked that question, why? Because of the fact that there are going to be no fans. So, as a fighter who is looking to put on a show for the fans, how can one be poised to put on a show on pay-per-view with no fans? How do you get up to be extra motivated now? Those are the questions that I have that as I was getting ready for the show, I was like, I don't get it. I really don't get it. And then I believe it was Joe Rogan that said it best. So Habib didn't want to take the fight with Tony Ferguson because of the issues with Russia being on lockdown and everything else like that. He was also not going to make weight. Because why would you try to make weight with unknowing circumstances of the fight? Then you watch and you flip over to, what is it? Tony Ferguson's Instagram? And he posts a video or a photo of his weight.
Exactly 155, even.
I made weight. He was always going to make weight.
Yeah,
he was always going to be ready.
There's no question he was always going to make weight.
But like, people are blaming like Khabib not wanting this fight. But it's like, it's hard to play the blame game when you don't know who's really to blame except for UFC.
Mm-hmm.
And when I talk about this and I just think it's like, man, we've been a broken record for over almost 5 years now about having a commission, what is it? A union for these fighters.
Wouldn't you think that at this point in time,
and it's no more apparent right now
that you need one
that
is
you
right
need
now.
a fighters union right now, because look what the UFC is doing. They're the monopoly, and they're like, we're still gonna do it. We're still gonna put on a fight card. He's channeling his inner Vince McMahon about life goes on. We're still gonna do what we do. He's treating these fighters as an employer rather than an employee.
I know that a lot of fighters, they want to fight, they want to get paid. I get it. A lot of people don't. A lot of people don't care about the pandemic. Let me just be blatantly honest about that. You're seeing the protests out in San Diego. Social distancing not in effect, masks not in effect. But fighters do. There's still that some do care, and then there's some that just wants to fight and get a paycheck because that's their only source of income. I get it. I'm going to bring up a thing that's going on with professional wrestling right now. Is a man named Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns has a compromised immune system, Sean.
Yeah,
because he battled leukemia. You know what the WWE has freaking done? The WWE basically has now shunned everything of Roman Reigns. Like, this guy doesn't even exist. Since he has came out and said, I'm not gonna wrestle at WrestleMania due to the fact that I have a compromised immune system and I battle leukemia and I can get it. WWE washed their hands of Roman Reigns, which is weird. Like, this is their guy
was supposed to go over Goldberg at WrestleMania.
And bro, you don't even mention it.
But so that's the thing about talking about
there's like two different avenues. Like, I can see both sides of the spectrum, right? The fighter that wants to fight and the fighter that wants to stay home. Here's another one. Tessa Blanchard, the Impact Wrestling World Champion, right? Impact Wrestling went to a 2-night schedule like WrestleMania with their pay-per-view that they did not put on pay-per-view called Rebellion. Their main event was supposed to be Tessa Blanchard, Michael Elgin, and Eddie Edwards for the Impact World Championship. Tessa Blanchard stayed home. Michael Elgin quickly, whether it was a shoot or a work, whatever, quickly pointed the finger at Tessa Blanchard, calling her that she was scared. She said, no, I have a family to look out after. I have to take care of myself, so stay at home. Stay safe, stay at home.
Makes sense.
Now there's talks and rumors that they're going to strip her of the title because she chose her health over that. So see what I mean? That there's two sides. We got Roberto that from Fight Book that's in there. I'm curious to what his take. Gary Brown, what's his take? What he thinks that should we really be forcing people into doing something that they may not be 100% comfortable with? Because like my job is not essential by any stretch of the imagination. But I go there every single day. I work 9 to 10 hour shifts. And we are now having a couple stores that are doing curbside. I was physically told that if I'm not comfortable, I don't have to do it. I'm not comfortable, so I ain't doing it. At least not at this point. That's where we are with this situation. And I'm reading so much on social media that there's hate against Amanda Nunes for pulling out. There's hate against Henry Cejudo's guy for pulling out. There's so many people
But Henry Cejudo's guy didn't pull out.
No.
It's still Dominic Cruz.
No, that was a fall guy. Dominic Cruz jumped right in there.
Oh, because it was supposed to be Jose Aldo.
Yes.
There you
so
go.
there's so many people that like we gotta stop taking our frustrations out on others and other people because they don't feel safe. That's their prerogative, man. That's how they do it. They don't feel safe to stand there. Explain to me how you're supposed to do social distancing when you're fighting inside of a cage and you're sweating in somebody in another man's mouth or woman's mouth. Explain that to me.
It's an awkward situation.
Yeah.
No way to cut it up. No way to put it except for it's awkward. And there's more questions than answers. Like if you're a fighter, and we have plenty of them on here.
A lot. Like this card's stacked of who's who.
Come over to our page, leave comments, because we know who you are. You know who we are. Don't be shy. We want to know from a fighter, what makes you want to compete in a situation that isn't necessarily healthy for you?
Or even a good play outside of the money aspect and the fighting aspect. What's your why?
What, yeah, why do you want to put your health at risk?
Just one word. Just one word. Why?
That's literally my questions. Why do you want to do it when you have no fans? Why do you want to do it when it's a pandemic?
There's so much more on the line than anything. Roberto for Fightbook, it doesn't matter what you do for a living. If you don't feel safe or comfortable working, that's the person's right to stay home.
Absolutely.
Exactly. Thank you.
But the UFC is out here making it look as if you have no alternative. And that they are going to shun you because of your idea of, you know what? I'm going to go home. And it's like, how dare you take your own ball and go home?
Why should you be questioned
I get that people
about your commitment? It is like the WWE guy that just came out that was afraid to come out because they are being forced to work and come to work every day.
Oh, the whistleblower.
Yep.
Yeah, I just saw that.
Bro, how...
The whistleblower.
And the fact that they want to know... Sean, the fact that they want to know who the whistleblower is now, it's amazing. Because who cares who the whistleblower is? And I love how the fact that they refer to him as John Doe. Because they don't want to leak his name. Are we seriously that scared about standing up and being safe that we are putting everybody's life at risk?
Yes, and here's a kicker, Tristan. You're talking about putting people at risk. Here's a number for you. For anybody that thinks that Florida is safe and that it's okay to open and reopen the beaches and stuff like that. So Florida, as of right now, has 8 positive cases, probably even more as of this speaking right now. The 20th highest case per million of residents. But yet they've reached their peak and beaches are being reopened.
Man,
if you looked at the statistics, that even though a lot of them are a little skewed, if you're just going off of statistics, and that's what you are you comfortable fighting for the UFC in Florida?
And don't get me wrong. This card is stacked. Tony
is.
Ferguson, Justin Gaethje, lightweight championship.
Henry Cejudo versus Dominic Cruz, co-main event. It's a good card.
Should we give up on the Tony Ferguson versus Khabib fight now? Totally. This is what, the 800th time that this fight has fallen through? And now you can add a pandemic cause this fight to follow through?
If Manny Pacquiao fought Floyd Mayweather, after almost a decade of hiding. This fight will eventually happen.
Bro, these guys are going to fight when they are gray and old and decrepit and unable to walk by themselves without a walker inside the cage.
Probably.
And everybody's going to be like, oh my God, I got to watch that fight.
The memes out there of them being gray and old are no joke.
The king of the memes at Fightbook MMA should actually make that. Khabib and Tony Ferguson, old and just in dire straits. One with a walker, one rocking a bear, a baby cub, something like that. Because that's the only time we're ever going to see a Khabib versus Ferguson fight at this point.
Yeah, so it's
if a pandemic took it out, this fight ain't happening anytime soon.
So you stand to lose money by putting this on pay-per-view for the fact that there's going to be no fans. The fight's going to be good.
How do fighters feel about the less pay coming into this fight now, too?
But why? I don't know. But we'll go into a break. We got PFL coming up next. We got some wrestling. Wrestling discussion coming up. Got some stuff interesting about that one as well. So we'll be right back after this break.
Or, hold on. Let's see. We got... The UFC is not the only promotion to fight for. If Dana White company has a problem, we'll go to a break. Just a second. I want to touch on this real quick. Company have a problem with you not fighting for them. Release them. Those fighters can go fight for Brave, CF. Absolutely. Just like all the wrestlers that were just released by the WWE. Trust me. They will be picked up. They'll be just fine. A lot of these other fighters.
That comment, though, is exactly that of a WWE comment. Yeah. And by that, I mean, is that when you look at WWE, if they have you on a contract, they won't release you.
Yep.
They will keep you hostage.
There's so many parallels between
that's what
the
UFC
does. And the WWE. Dana White, as well as Vince McMahon, they are almost two in the same on how they run their companies and how they embody and how they envision.
They're going to hold fighters hostage.
Absolutely.
If you're in that contract, they ain't going to release you.
It ain't going to be that easy.
If you make money, they're not going to release you. Like, look at the guys that the WWE released. Rusev, Aiden English,
EC3. Dude, if you guys have not seen Essential Carter the Third on Twitter,
so
y'all
those
are doing
guys that
yourself
were released
an injustice.
Were not making money at any level for the WWE at any point outside of probably Gallows and Anderson, because they just main evented WrestleMania with AJ Styles. But if anybody gets released from the UFC, it's going to be somebody of not any stature or anybody cares about. It'd be somebody like, I don't want to pay them. They're good. They can walk.
Yeah.
So, yeah, while there's other promotions that many fighters can go, and UFC ain't going to release
as long as they have a stranglehold on it.
The only way this gets resolved is when somebody gets the biggest cojones on the planet and finally makes a union and stands up to the promoters, especially the UFC, and helps the fighters get what they deserve. Until then, we're going to have this issue
environment. Yep.
What we're dealing with during a pandemic that fighters shouldn't be dealing with. And newsflash, maybe the UFC should take a page out of the PFL playbook.
And we'll get to that right after the break. We are the Ducross Brothers, Sports Warriors, Sean and Tristan Ducross. Our unique take on combat sports world every Wednesday. Welcome everybody to the Warriors Den with your boys Sean and Tristan Ducross, the Sports Warriors. Appreciate everybody that is tuning into us right now. Appreciate the love and the support as we continue to do our shows and bring you new, unique content. That is what we're here to do. Go ahead, smash the like button, show your love, share us. Appreciate the love and respect. YouTube channel, you can also follow us on there. In the meantime, PFL, Professional Fighters League. I applaud them in what they have done, and
Before you go any further,
Yes. What is brought to our attention?
you said the one word that matters the most. Professional. Professional. That hits home more than anything else out there right now. Because we've been talking about it. Taking care of the fighters during this pandemic. Showing love and support for the people that are in your building to make sure that their well-being is first and foremost. And professionalism is what PFL has done. The fact that PFL has risked their promotion by shutting it down till spring of 2021. And the fact that they have offered a monthly stipend to all their fighters under contract. Couldn't have been more happier seeing that out of everything. If you're going to do something like PFL did. If you're not going to do anything, do it like what Brave and Bellator have done. They're not going to risk their fighters.
Bellator just announced that they were going to postpone their fight on June 6th or June 9th. 6th or 9th, one of the two. Again, I applaud. But for the Professional Fighters League to do this, and I say it's good and bad, okay? I take a little bit because I told you that they're going to pay monthly bonuses, and I'm cool with that. You know, professional, take care of your fighters, do what you need to do. But it was funny because I read all the social media, right? And everybody's like, yeah, go PFL, go PFL. Thank you for taking care of their fighters. And then some 13 hours ago, they announced that they have released a third of their roster. No names have been released unless you physically have posted on Instagram or Twitter about that they were released. And one guy, Bryce Mitchell, took to Instagram and posted a contract for $249 May 9th in Florida. It says he's ready.
Because like I explained to you, the fighters that were released were given the option by PFL. You stay on board with us.
I'm sure some of them, yes, and then some of them, no.
Yeah, again, because it's all about where you line up on that threshold.
I told him, Paul.
So if you're one of their guys, they took care of you. If you didn't want to be one of their guys, they were open to letting you go and explore other avenues, whatever you wanted to do. Again, bravo for PFL for letting the fighters do what they felt they wanted to do.
Right? And this is where it's interesting dilemma because, right, you get fighters that are released and you don't know the ins and outs of why they did it. You could speculate about whether or not they asked for the release or they didn't ask for the release or where they are slotted on that sliding scale. But what's interesting is that the fans, man, I got a bone to pick with some of you guys. WWE releases a ton of wrestlers, right? Social media blows up and blames Vince and Kenny McMahon because they come out and they say that they have billions of dollars. They have a rainy day fund to stay afloat and to keep and to retain wrestlers. But they released wrestlers. PFL, we're going to take care of our fighters. 13 hours later, we're releasing a third of our fighters. Insert fans attack PFL. You do realize that people have to survive this pandemic because we don't know what tomorrow's going to hold, right?
Two things to your comment, okay?
Go for it.
One, is that it's very, maybe it's the wrong word, cynical in the terms of that when people attack the PFL or whoever may be on social media about doing good things for the business.
There's always that underlying.
But yet nobody is saying relatively anything bad about the UFC wanting to put on a fight card in front of no fans, in front of, like, I'm confused on so many thoughts that go out there in people's minds.
That's why I said
that I deal with that even on a consistent basis with this pandemic.
Yeah.
Is the thought process of, oh, I can walk around without a mask. Oh, I can stand next to somebody that's closer to me than 6 feet. I can still go down to the beach and I can do this, or I could go to the gym and I can do this. I get that you're uncomfortable,
right?
But embrace the uncomfortability, because one thing I say is day by day, minute by minute, hour by hour, everything changes. Everything with what we're going on right now changes in a blink of an eye. And when you do that,
and whether you guys want to believe it or not, that is a fact.
And when you go through all that, we circle right back to the big question. Why? Why do you want to put your health at risk? I failed to understand it. I failed to understand where the
disconnect is?
Yeah, and the anger comes from for when people want to do the best. We see it on the news all the time. Oh, California, you're doing too much. It's too harsh. No, they're doing just enough. What New York has battled and what
they
their
have
guy
endured.
Cuomo has been saying has been nothing but short of amazing. Because he went through hell, fire, and still risen to try to put back the
broken
people.
pieces.
But it's so funny.
Because everybody, Sean, because look. Everybody out there, your keyboard warriors,
that's what I just said.
your guys that, and it's funny because trust me, some of these guys that are that have said this stuff are probably like 16-year-olds, bottom dwellers, or like if you see the Enzo Amore Rise of the Phoenix YouTube video, if you didn't, you should probably go look at that.
One good thing Enzo Amore did do,
right? It's probably that dude that's sitting there watching Monday Night Raw in his in a t-shirt and his underwear. That's probably where we're at right now. Everybody is so quick to look at the negative and not just the positive.
Look at the narrative. Look at where we're at. Stop being so dismissive about the good and the positive stuff that's being done to keep people safe.
Dude, I feel bad for being at work every day, working 10 hours while I had to let my team go.
It's awkward.
How do you tell 9 other people I'm going to work and I'm going to get paid to work a normal paycheck, but I'm going to have to lay off all you guys?
But at the same time, Tristan, dealing with this, wouldn't you rather be the one lone wolf than have 9 others battling side by side?
No, but I'm just saying is that you have to take the good and the bad.
Absolutely. And then my good is that wouldn't you put yourself in that line rather than not having everybody else have a chance?
And that's what I did. And I think that's what you have to look at with like PFL or what Bellator's doing, what Brave see
putting themselves in front of the line of fire.
Putting themselves in the line of fire first for the benefits and the well-being of others, not the money, not the green, not the capital that runs the capitalism of everything. Take care of those that take care of you.
And then they'll come back and return the favor.
I go to work every day in front lines, and I've told all my 9 other employees that make sure that you guys understand that at the end of this pandemic, at the end of this, make no mistake about it, you guys still have a job. Make no mistake about it. I will bring you guys back. I will give you the exact same pay. And if I could, I'll probably give you a damn raise because this was not your fault. So quit jumping on your Twitter machine, social media machine, and talking down to these promotions that give a damn about their fighters or their wrestlers. You make the choice.
Don't be afraid to make a smart choice for the betterment of your health. As simple as that.
Seriously, and that's where we're at. Seriously, in the combat sports world, a community that has been believed that we are such a tight-knit community, right?
So divided.
So divided.
But that's the thing.
Instead of supporting each other, instead of being there hand in hand, arm in arm, or in this case, bruh, 6 feet away, social distancing, Heisman stiff arm. We are doing ourselves an injustice. I have a platform right here. Flightbook MMA has a platform. One Up MMA has a platform. Combat News has a platform. We, as social media personalities, us as combat analysis, us as talk show hosts, we owe it to our fans. We owe it to the fighters. We owe it to everybody else to understand that we are here for you too. We will give you the landscape. We will give you the platform. We will be there to support you in any way that we can. Right, Sean?
Absolutely. Just because we're the little engine in the could doesn't mean that we're not here.
If Thomas the Train could get up that hill, we could get up that hill.
Right? All right, we're going to go ahead and take our last break, then we're going to get into some interesting wrestling talk and wrap up this show today.
100%. We are the Ducross Brothers, Sean and Tristan Ducross. Every Wednesday in the Warriors Den, we talk about combat sports, professional wrestling, Muay Thai, you name it. Right here, a unique perspective on combat sports world.
So this past week, it was past 24 hours, been very interesting.
We are the Ducross Brothers in the Warriors Den. Now you can continue.
It's been very interesting that Rob Gronkowski was traded away to Tampa Bay this past week, and then WWE releases a statement saying that, hey, Rob, I know you're going back to wrestling, but yeah, you know you're our 24/7 champion. So kind of need to defend it now. Doesn't matter when and where, but you still kind of need to defend it.
I like it. They don't care.
Apparently, you can defend it in
the locker room.
But last time I checked, this is not the XFL.
Hey, Florida's essential. Tampa Bay. It's going to be interesting to see what Gronk does because he is a 24/7 champion. He's going to have to defend it, and considering there is no football, Sean.
Yeah.
He's still going to be wrestling for a little while.
I guess so, because I guess I didn't think about it that way for a second. That I guess when there is no football going on right now, even though the draft is tomorrow, that's supposed to be a virtual draft, which is going to be super weird. But when you look about what he's doing,
over under how many mess ups in the NFL draft are we going to see?
I don't know. I don't want to talk about that right now.
Dude,
Maybe
sorry.
we'll talk about that next week.
Bro, hold on. Sorry. We all run a live stream, right?
Yeah.
We know that there's sometimes complications, right?
Yes.
Dude, somebody's going to be like this.
Somebody's going to get caught with their hand in the cookie jar.
No, there's going to be a steal, like as if I'm frozen.
On top of that, Tristan, there's going to be probably misspellings.
Yeah.
Somewhere. Somebody's name is going to get confused. Somebody's going to get called when they shouldn't be getting called. Oh, it's tense.
How do you have three people that could put in a ticket and not have a mess up?
Guess we'll find out tomorrow night.
And you're going to have one conference call on Zoom? That's a bit excessive. How did Zoom get so popular in like matter of weeks? Like I never heard.
Zoom just made millions of dollars on this pandemic.
Absolutely, 100%.
Won the jackpot.
I kind of want to check out this Zoom Because the only time I used Zoom was at one time when we were on a conference call and I couldn't go see a guy, so we spoke on the phone.
Yes.
I kind of want to see what all the fuss is about.
But I think everybody wanted to know what the fuss about was with Jake Hager. This guy is a legitimate MMA fighter, and he's out there in a non-sanctioned bout with John Moxley in AEW, and he gets dropped on his head on a chair, and he loses. With no help, no rhyme or reason, but a guy who's supposed to be a legitimate badass loses without any help. To save face in wrestling, you'd almost think that Jake Hager would have somebody to help him out, to avoid any issues. But unfortunately, no, he got dropped on his head, had nobody come out from the inner circle. The rest is history. He's still not the AEW champion. His mystique, his aura is gone. How could he go back to MMA and think that, you know what? It's kind of good. Like, no, not good at all. There is no good thing about it. I was trying to find the silver lining. And then things online, it's like, oh, expect mixed reviews on the fight. No. Because a legitimate badass got beat by a wrestler. Granted, it defeats the common sense of what we spoke about last week about Ronda Rousey calling wrestling fake, but I digress. Real fighter, real wrestler versus wrestler, and backyard wrestler and extreme wrestler. Can that really happen? I don't know. I was confused by what I saw. I think Inner Circle should have came down and helped.
But my questioning is, like what's scrolling down at the bottom right now, is that MMA fighters that are in professional wrestling, and we've seen quite a few of them, and most recently, King Mo has transitioned to MLW. We've seen Stefan Bonner in Impact, Tito Ortiz in Impact, Alberto Del Rio, and the list could go on. Jack Hager, the latest, Bobby Lashley. There's so many people. Dave Bautista, that's going to be fighting on CES, which is kind of weird. But MMA fighters in wrestling, does this hurt their image?
Absolutely it does.
Does it hurt combat sports MMA image? I say that because you're supposed to be this legit badass, right? In combat sports world, in the MMA. How do you transition to professional wrestling, lose clean in an unsanctioned match that's supposed to be up your alley, and you lose clean? Legitimacy is gone out the door on your character and on, in my thinking, a lot of the professional fighters that are doing it.
Yeah.
Because now I question, were you really a legit badass in MMA? Like, if you cannot beat a professional wrestler, how are you a legit badass in MMA? Ronda Rousey crosses platforms and ended up losing at WrestleMania. She was one of the baddest people on the planet. She loses. There's only one MMA fighter this weekend, and I'm not going to count King Mo's win on MLW because he had help. He did not win that clean over low key. Just saying. That did not happen. Let's be honest. If you want to buy that bill of goods, have at it. He did not win clean. The only professional fighter that fought over the weekend that won clean was Ken freaking Shamrock
over Sami Callihan, which makes no sense.
They fought in an empty arena into an outside parking lot did they have a drone outside? Like, that was weird. Like, how they filmed that.
A lot of the filming Impact does is weird.
What?
Especially with Sami Callihan. They're like trying to do like movie scenes, but not really movie scenes from the time that I've watched a little bit of
Like,
Impact.
because Matt Hardy put the stamp on the cinematic stuff, it's like everybody has to do cinematic stuff. Like, I get it that they're trying to do something different. WWE doing the corporate ladder match. You're going to fight through 4 rooms in Stamford, Connecticut to get to the top.
Hey, please, somebody enlighten me, and maybe one of our coworkers that we used to work with, Sergio, you're a huge wrestling fan. Please enlighten me. How in the heck is this new Money in the Bank supposed to work? How are you supposed to start at the bottom of Titan Tower, work your way all the way up through 4 levels to get to the top, and then finish in a wrestling ring? How is that supposed to happen? I've been trying to wrap my brain around this since Monday night about how in the heck is this visually supposed to work with what? How many participants? And what's up, Cash?
2 ladder matches. Women's and men's.
Yes. In Titan Tower.
How? That's crazy. That is the craziest thing I have ever seen. And I know they're trying to do something different because it gets old when you're watching wrestling inside of an empty arena every single Monday, every Tuesday, every Wednesday, and every Friday and Saturday that you get to see an empty arena. At some point, you got to do something different. Respect the different. I just have so many questions. So many questions that I'm still trying to wrap my head around that. So I was like, I don't understand how this is going to work. I don't get how a lot of stuff.
Wait,
right
are
now.
you going to go into your boss's office, smash down the door? Are we really going to be like, what was it? In Your House? Remember In Your House?
Yeah.
And the commercials for In Your House? That's what I channel.
Basically, that's what it's coming down to. Instead, in your house, it's in your office and in your little like phone booth area.
So what?
Cubicle.
You get Bravo points for being able to. Guess what? I broke my boss's door in today. I broke his table today.
But they just stopped halt on their new facility that their new corporate offices.
So,
they suspended it for 6 months. So my question is, why couldn't you have done this 6 months after it?
So is this going to end in a cinematic explosion, like Die Hard?
But their new corporate offices aren't done being built.
Maybe that's just a ploy.
We are literally going to destroy our Stamford offices because our new corporate offices is built.
Maybe at the end of
Does Vince McMahon have a Harry Potter wand?
You don't know if it's not being built.
They halted suspension on the construction for 6 months.
Allegedly, it's the WWE. It could be a ploy.
Anything's essential.
Yes. So, who knows? The end result, grab the Money in the Bank, grab the briefcase down. Explosion,
have you seen?
And then bam, pan over, right over to the new Titan Tower.
And big old WWE logo on the side of it.
See?
Shine.
They take a coin.
Have you seen the Have you seen the photos of this?
They take a coin right out of Die Hard.
And speaking about that, they have Christmas trees on the top of the Titan Towers. Ladders are everywhere. There's already a ring on top of the building. And they have a crane, a ginormous crane that's holding the briefcase on the top. Don't know. Do not know what this is going to be like. I applaud them for thinking outside the box.
But literally, this is way
outside the box.
With no rhyme or reason to it.
There is no safety vest for this to go without a hitch.
But the thing, though, is that want to know what makes this even worse? And that I'm going to... Spoiler alert! This has already been taped.
Yes.
Money in the Bank has already been taped. Money in the Bank has already been completed.
And just like WrestleMania, your main event might not be your main event. There's your spoiler.
So you may see some jankiness and cut pieces and puzzle pieces placed during this main event of the Money in the Bank. Oh, this could go so bad. This could go so bad. But as we wrap up the show on a lighter note, The Rock returns, Dwayne Johnson returns
to HBO.
To HBO with a new show called what I'm assuming is called 3 Count.
It is called 3 Count.
And
or
what-
3 Count.
Yeah, but I'll call 3 Count. And what it is that it's going to follow a struggling professional wrestler named Cassius Jones. Love that name. Cassius Jones.
Okay. Just
better
before we get into the narrative
Samoa.
of this show, when I read Cassius Jones, I immediately thought, oh, dude, seriously, we got a new video game? That's a good story name.
Or did they bring in Cassius Clay?
No, he was released from NXT. Cassius Jones inherited a life insurance policy and thinks that it's a brilliant idea to start his own backyard professional wrestling league. If that doesn't scream video game, I don't know what does. That would be a great story mode, right?
So,
a struggling, hungry, young, personable person loses a family member, gets life insurance policy, and decides that being a professional wrestler was his long life dream. And by doing so, he must create his own backyard wrestling promotion. Follow the life of Cassius Jones, right? On HBO. You can catch the series for a half an hour.
So you had Cassius Clay, which was the original name of Muhammad Ali, and you got that Cassius guy from NXT that fought for Ring of Honor.
Correct.
That was released. Only badass was Cassius Clay. So if you're The Rock, you know Cassius Clay or Muhammad Ali, you would assume Cassius Clay going to be a big guy. Not a small guy.
No.
He's not going to be a luchador. He's not going to be a 205er.
And is it just weird that him, his wife, are all co-executive producers on this project?
Yeah, no doubt.
Like it's the laundry list. Since when can you have like 800 executive producers?
It's
on a program.
It's producing. You can have like 20.
That is literally too many hands in the cookie jar.
Is it? When you're The Rock, you just say, yes, master.
$7 entertainment.
There you go. But be on the lookout for 3 Count on HBO. Coming to a network near you.
Smash the like button.
Smash the like button. Hit the heart. We love you guys. We're doing random stuff at random times. Follow us on Twitter.
Man, I appreciate everybody tuning into us on live right now on Facebook. Appreciate the love. You can catch the show in its entirety.
Something different.
Up on YouTube too, right after the show.
And now we're letting you see some of our weirdness.
It might only get weirder as this pandemic keeps going and going and going.
Oh, we didn't even get to talk about Dark Side of the Ring. We'll get to that next week, though.
Dino Bravo.
No.
Jimmy Snuka?
Dark Side of the Ring.
Vice.
Ridiculous.
We should probably sit down and review Vice's Dark Side of the Ring. I don't see anybody doing that for content. We should.
Yeah.
We are the Cross Brothers right here in the Warriors Den. Appreciate all the love and the support that you guys have showed us today. Thank you for tuning in to us. Until next time, I'm Tristan Ducross. This is my brother Sean Ducross. We are the Ducross Brothers. Cross that line.
Get it on!
Sprawl and brawl, ground and pound. Get ready for an MMA showdown. Now, the ultimate Octagon Insiders, Sean and Tristan Ducross.